Why is Optimus pumping right now? The OPT3 token is up 25% on the day. Green candles everywhere. What's happening? Did the bots turn back on and it's going to race to get us back to above $1, which a lot of us bought in this project on? Or is there something else going on? Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of big changes going to happen for Optimus. DeFi Dude put a video out today with a bit of information. I'm going to go over that information, explain to you what it is, why they're doing it, how it's supposed to help, and then I'm going to let you know what I'm going to do. Am I going to sell out of these tokens and just move on to another project? Right? They're just Optimus 1 or 2, Optimus 3, OPT 4, and now there's going to be another one to come January 2nd. Stay tuned. We're going to get into it. Hello, everyone. My name is Sean. I am the Cryptosmith. I do appreciate you guys coming back, watching a video on Optimus. As you can see on the screen, Optimus is moving in the right direction, at least for the time being, maybe short term. But DeFi Dude came out today and said, Optimus X, right? The one to rule them all. This is what he said. All right. I'm just repeating what he said. They're working on an Optimus X token, or just OPTX. That's going to replace Optimus 3, Optimus 4, and is supposed to help with all of the issues that have been going on, the problems they're trying to solve. He really heard from the community, I guess, and a lot of people really didn't like the halving situation. They wanted to keep the 1%. And that's going to bring me to this point, right? We have a DAO for a reason. Now, I'm not unique in this that I can see both sides, right? But I can see both sides of this and what's going on. Right? The DAO is here so that the community can vote on new proposals and ideas and moving a project forward, right? And generally, you would think that decision stands, right? The community voted and decided, and it's supposed to, be ironclad, like this is what we're going to do. However, that's not what's happening now. 87% vote for should Optimus adopt a halving cycle, right? 87% said yes. 12.5% said no. Yeah, I said yes because right, it was not sustainable in the current form. So obviously I want it to be sustainable. I'm going to vote for whatever, the team thinks that is going to help it be sustainable. So that's why I voted yes. But why did so many people come out and say they did not want the halving? They wanted to keep the 1%. They wanted to figure out a different way to go about it to make the token more deflationary. So what happened here? Why is it 87% of the vote went to yes and only 12.5% went to no? Well, I thought about it for a second. I thought, well, more than likely, the whales who sit at the top, who have most of the tokens, this is not one person, one vote, right? However many tokens you have, like I have 770 something tokens. So that's how many votes I get, right? But if you have 100,000 tokens, that's how many votes you get. So really, it only takes probably the top 10% of the people who are holding OPT3 tokens to basically sway this vote either way. So while a majority of the people didn't want it, unfortunately, they only represent 12.5% of the tokens. So that's really likely what happened here. All the people at the top, including DeFi Dude's family and friends, which he's already made public, that he has them in here, and there's some pretty big holders. So if he wants something to happen, he didn't vote himself, but he obviously can sway or tell the whales that he knows are like, hey, would be the best option, and then they're going to vote that way. And I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just the way it's set up. It's really not set up properly. I think this should really be just a one person, one vote. But the DAO set up differently, so obviously this is working at this time. So there's no reason to have a DAO if we're not going to go ahead and move forward with the proposals that have been voted on. So that brings us back to Optimus. What's going to happen? Optimus is coming out with Optimus X, or OPTX. And they're going to build it on a modular blockchain. Now, how is that different than a regular blockchain? Well, a modular blockchain is built basically in a stack. So you have stacks, basically layers of blockchain built on top of each other to create one, project, one contract, one blockchain, basically. So that when you need to change something, you can change one of the layers without having to kill everything and do a V2 and a V3 and a V4 and keep, coming up with different iterations every time you want to make a little change to your project. So that's why they do this stacked version, or what they call a modular blockchain. Now, something like Bitcoin and Ethereum, They are what you would call a monolithic blockchain. One layer, that's it, which is why you really have to be careful about what you're doing when you're putting these things together so you get it just right. Otherwise, if you want to make a little change, you have to basically get rid of the whole thing, redo it, make that change, and then come out with a version 2, version 3. We've seen in many projects that have done the same thing. And, obviously, I think it would be better, depending on your project, for modular if you plan on needing to make changes in the future. So that's basically what's happening here. They're going to ditch OPT3 and OPT4 and just go OPTX. It's going to be airdropped. January 2nd is when it's going to launch. There's no pre-sale. You're just going to get airdrop tokens based one-to-one based on what you currently have in your wallet. Also, there's going to be a DEX, a decentralized exchange that's going to hold multiple projects tokens in there, and you'll be able to benefit from that as well and get into these other projects, maybe some other rebasing or bot, trading type projects where you're getting, a percentage each day. So that's pretty bullish. I think that's good news. I mean, it's not good news if you don't like constant change, but obviously DeFi Dude and his team is trying to create the perfect token, kind of like StableFund, having to reinvent themselves and do something different to help for longevity. Now, to me, I like it because change is necessary almost for everything. And in this space, everybody's learning. DeFi Dude, he's not a contract guy. He's not a blockchain guy. But I think he's good with that marketing and getting the ideas out there, listening to the community. And everybody's saying, ditch the halving. I don't want 0.5% or 0.25%, a year from now. We want to keep that 1%. So he's trying to accommodate. Now, going forward on the OPTX token and that platform, if you want to maintain your 1%, you're going to have to stake. So you're going to stake it for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. That hasn't been established yet. There's still some things to work out. But if you want that 1%, you're going to need to stake it so that it's more stable. It's going to help reduce the sell pressure that's constant on this. You're going to stake your token, and if you need to withdraw it, you still have access to it. You'll just have to pay a fee, a sales tax basically to get out of that, and then to sell your tokens, right? Which is also fine. That's going to help put more money back into the treasury, or maybe burn those tokens, as that sales tax, which also helps, right, become deflationary. So obviously there's a lot more details that need to come out. I'm just kind of giving you guys the heads up right now of what's coming down the road. January 2nd. He said he might be, too hungover to do it on January 1st. So January 2nd is the day. OPTX is the token. They're going to come out with a DEX. So this is going to be all different here. You can see I have 660 OPT on here. I actually have 100 more that I put over. And I don't know if you guys have seen Optimus staking, completely separate project, but using the OPT3 token to stake. So if you're staked in here, I'm going to, not financial advice, but because we don't really know what's going to happen with the OPTX just now, you might want to make sure that you get your tokens out of here before January 2nd, or just listen to more updates and get on the Telegram or the Discord channel and maybe ask questions and see what's going to happen. I haven't asked that question yet. I just thought of it right now. That's just the Optimus staking here. I'm getting 1.5%, and I'll probably be pulling my tokens back out here fairly soon, just to put them all in one place to keep them nice and safe. So that's OPT Fund. Check it out if you like. It's optfund.net. So this might actually be, one of those projects that are going to be on the DEX in January, or part of maybe a partnership with Optimus. So getting back to Optimus and projects like this. So here's what I have to say, right? I'm sticking with it. I don't have a ton of money in here right now. Obviously, it was worth a lot more at one point in the recent past, but I'm going to stick with it. I want to ride the project out. I do like what's going on. I kind of see Michael from StableFund and DeFi Dude kind of in the same spot, in that they're really doing whatever they need to do to make sure that these things keep going, right? They don't want them to stop. They don't want to quit. They don't want to have to, stop the contract and refund money, or just, go away and say, hey, sorry, we tried to make it work, just couldn't work it out, which a lot of projects do. But they can't solve all of the problems. And this, I think, is one of those issues where, they see a problem like constant sell pressure, whales dumping, FUD coming in, right? And you just, that's, for me, and you've heard me talk about it before, that is the human factor in investing. And especially in a very infantile space like DeFi is right now, where you get a lot of really uneducated, non-sophisticated type investors who are just throwing money at something, believe in everything they hear, and then they get really upset when things change. or it doesn't turn out the way they thought it was going to turn out. And then they're out there just screaming, at the top of their lungs about how it's a scam and a rug pull and all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to get to the point where you can eliminate the whale problem. Whales are going to buy, and then they're going to dump when they want to dump, and they want to make money. And unfortunately, if you're somebody like me who sits kind of at the bottom, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the price. It's going to hurt my wallet. I have to deal with that, right? I have to figure out a way to mitigate that. And then you're going to have FUD. You're always going to have FUD out there. Somebody doesn't like your project. They're going to go and spread rumors and say things that maybe aren't true just because they don't like your project, or maybe they got burned on something. So we're not going to be able to keep changing the project to try to eliminate the human factor. That's just part of investing. So we just have to make sure that we're unemotional about these things. This is just money. You put money in that you can afford to lose. If a project like this, which is a complete gambling play, goes belly up, like, hey, that's too bad. Like, that's just part of the deal. That's part of what you have to deal with when you're in the DeFi space, especially right now. Now, a year or two from now, when regulations come through and, projects like this probably won't exist, or they definitely won't exist inside the US, but we're trying to get what we can out of it right now. And then, make, adjustments going forward in our investing style. So that's really what I got for you today on the OPTX token coming out January 2nd. I'm actually pretty excited about it to see kind of where this moves and how this goes. But it does give me, a little warm and fuzzies that DeFi Dude and the team, they're really doing whatever they can to try to make sure that this is a long-term viable project and it's not just going to go away, and they're not going to have constant issues, every couple of weeks, right? Which is what we seem to have with these things. So that's all I got for you today on the Optimus project. And I hope to see you guys on Saturday on my live stream, which is 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. I'll be there. We'll be talking about Optimus and all the changes. We'll be talking about StableFund, and a few other things, of course. So you guys take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.